Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach VOD review. So today, I've been hunting for a Lucio VOD review, and I got pointed to this one by a buddy of mine who happened to see that nobody was replying to this submission. So I thought we'll take a look at it and see what we got here. So we're doing Lucio on King's Row. It says in their intro, they're masters. Apparently, though, I am diamond in parentheses, so it doesn't say exactly where in diamond. Considering they think they should be in masters, we're just going to say diamond like 2 or 1 or something. I'll probably put diamond 1 in the title, but, you know, think upper diamond, I guess, I think would be fair to say then. In their intro, they say, "Hi, I am a GM tank player, and I found Lucio really fun, so I decided to play support. So far, it has been really fun with a 80% win rate from plat to diamond-ish, but I noticed that whenever I get dropped into masters lobbies, I don't play as well, especially if I have to switch off Lucio, as I'm not good with other heroes. This game is really good example of my playstyle, and it highlights my issues, of which the most important one is dying way too much. I think it is a positional issue and maybe not enough wall riding. I would love your feedback." All right, so a little quick introduction as far as what you're getting from me. So I started maining Lucio in Season 2. I've mained Lucio from basically low plat into upper masters. So I've never been GM, but I'm currently in Masters 2 this season. I have 5 accounts. 2 are in Masters. 1 was in Diamond 1, although it dropped to Diamond 2 yesterday. And then I've got another account at Diamond 5. So I'm basically all over the place in terms of Diamond to Masters. I do still play Lucio, but I don't play him as much. I'm more of a Kiriko main as of now. But that obviously means I've got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on Lucio between basically season 2 to now. So, and this is a day 1 map, King's Row. And on top of that, we're running a really traditional team comp here outside of maybe the DPS side of things. So, I mean, in terms of what I can give you for Lucio, I think will be pretty valuable for you and anybody that wants to watch this VOD review. However, with that being said, I do want to point out, if you're going to main Lucio as of right now, I think you're going to have a bad time, because now you're playing with Orion in this game, so I think Lucio here can definitely work, but depending on what your tank is, I think Lucio is going to give you a bad time, because Lucio doesn't fit with a lot of the current meta tanks. But Rhine is one of them. And if you do get a Rhine, Lucio can definitely work. So in a situation like this, don't worry about it. But like when you're getting, like, say, for example, Hammond, who's been pretty popular this season, then that's where you want to start thinking other heroes. So Lucio kind of fits into the support box of like Brig, Zen, Lucio, and then Kiriko kind of borderlines on it. Because Kiriko can kind of be a main healer, but she's, in my opinion, Kiriko is best as an off support, although she's like the highest healing output of an off support, and she can definitely be a main healer. But I feel like she kind of fits, she's like in that little gray area middle ground. So I would suggest learning Zen. As of right now, Brig is actually in a fairly decent spot for the first time in Overwatch 2. I think she'll be in an even better spot when they rework her ultimate, which will be in the next season from what I understand. And then Kiriko has basically been a must play for any support player, in my opinion, since day 1 of Overwatch 2. So, in terms of looking for other heroes to play, because you basically said you really only play Lucio, and after that it kind of goes downhill. So those might be some of the heroes you might want to look at. However, that also throws a little bit of a weakness into your hero pool, because if you get paired up with another off support player, then your team might be struggling a little bit. So that's where the Ana, Bap, Moira combination kind of comes into. And actually, I forgot to mention Mercy is kind of a little bit more into that off support category as well. But I feel like there's a lot of Mercy players out there. And if you're already kind of gravitating toward Lucio, Mercy probably doesn't appeal to you. That's why I kind of like blocked her out of my mind when I was rattling off those heroes. But Mercy's kind of in that Kiriko category where she probably fits a little bit better as an off support. But if played a certain way, could kind of fit into a main support. But generally speaking, since Overwatch 2 kind of became, when Overwatch transitioned to Overwatch 2, Mercy's kind of slid more into the off support role because you really want her just pocketing the DPS. So yeah, let's dig into this here and see what we've got. So this is our Lucio, obviously, because it's the only one on the map. Lucio fits well here with the Rhine, as I stated. So you're going to want to stick with your Rhine. And then you're also going to want to kind of stick to your Ana. So you're going to kind of bouncing around between knowing where your Ana is and bodyguarding her when she gets dove. They're not running any dive. So basically just whenever anybody pokes at her, you're going to just want to bounce back over to her and top her off, speed her around a corner, that kind of a thing. Otherwise, your main job is really going to be to speed the Reinhardt in, keep some steady heals going in his direction, give him speed for lack of a Reinhardt mobility, that kind of a thing is really what you're going to be focused on primarily. Ana will be the cart pusher, so you should be helping everybody move up once you take the cart and start pushing up, speed them around, speed them out of a retreat, speed them into an enemy that might be staggered, that kind of a thing. That's basically what I'm going to be looking for you here. If wall riding is an issue, this map should be fairly easy to be wall riding. You're in a lot of tight corridors, a lot of mostly flat walls. This is a pretty easy map to be wall riding on for the most part. There's a couple spots that aren't so great for it, but mostly it's a pretty good wall riding map in my opinion though. So let's dig into this here and see what we get. So, the one thing I'm noticing already, you're not flipping between the two songs. I would be, so, starting right here, I would just, between now and when I originally paused it, just keep going back and forth between these two. Heal and speed song, just bounce them. Keep hitting shift, just spam it. Just keep flipping between the two. Because it's weird to me, you haven't been on the heal song once yet. That's actually really strange to me. I've never seen anybody play Lucio and they just stay on speed like this. I don't know if this is a playstyle a streamer or somebody's been advertising or something, but I've not seen this. And I would not advocate doing that. I would be bouncing between the two, and once somebody starts getting low, I would stay on heal just to keep them going, because once you're on the point here, speed doesn't really become super valuable. I mean, it might be if you guys push in a little bit there, but nobody was really doing that. And really, once you're on the objective here, just heal so that you have some sustainability to actually hold and take this. That's what I would be doing.
You want that louder?
So yeah, you wasted your amp there. I think you already realized what you did on that one, so I won't harp on that too much. But if you are going to wait to escort somebody out of spawn, just be cognizant of where they are in relation to when you're going to be amping, you know, that kind of thing. Wait, did you? Yeah, you woke up a sleeping nanoed Rhine. That's not good. Alright, so, alright. In a situation like this, the Rhine is not going to die until everybody around him is dead. Or at least until the supports are dead. So what I would have preferred seeing you shooting at here is either the Torb or the Ash in this case. Torb probably the better one because the Ash is being pocketed and they're just going to get healed right away. Torb's almost dead and he's ulting. So if you kill him, you limit the amount of lava coming out of him, which then negates his ult almost entirely. But the Ana just countered the nano, the enemy nano, and then you woke it up and made it more of a thing again. So that was a big no-no. The other thing I would recommend doing in a case like this, let's zoom out here. So a lot of times when fighting to take this objective and you're kind of fighting in this like courtyard area, is I like to wall ride up and kind of play around here, like actually get up here. And then on top of that, you would have been able to shoot at the Torb turret who's shooting your tank in the back and nobody seems to be paying any attention to. But I would be kind of playing more up here. Because you were over here, you could be wall riding more around over here. However, I think that would put you more in line to the Ash shooting at you. So I think being more in this vicinity would have been better. Sometimes I play over here. And if you were over here, you'd have been able to support your DPS a little bit and then maybe kind of retake this flank. But the one thing I've noticed is I don't think you've healed at all yet. I don't think you have a single HP of healing at this point. I have not noticed you be on healing song even for a split second. And that's concerning to me because you need to be flipping between these songs. Oh, I think you just did it for the first time, flipping to your heal song, I think. I don't know, if you've done it before this, I have honestly not noticed it. Yeah, so just leave it on heal song right now and heal your Cassidy. That was a wasted speed because your tank got away from you and then on top of that got charged. Just heal right now, heal right now. Yep, get that turret down. Now what I would do here is start wall riding around that statue again. And I would leave it on heal and then maybe flip it to speed if you notice somebody behind the statue that needs to get back into the fight quicker, but otherwise leave it on heal for the reason that you're putting a lot of pressure at this point on your Ana. And you're pretty much at the objective at this point, so speeding any further in is going to be rough. And on top of that, your main DPS is dead. So unless your Rhine's about to pop off, which he does not have his hammer down, so speeding him past a Rhine, I don't really see that being too valuable. So I would just be playing speed here, farm your ultimate, and then just do what you can with your gun and healing people and just kind of try to prolong the fight, because at this point your whole team basically needs ultimate charge. So you need a long fight here. So I'm okay with you trying to speed your Reinhardt out, but once he starts getting out, swap back to your heal song and then watch your positioning because you're about to eat a fire strike, and it's because you're playing the angle of the wall here, and you're just asking to eat damage. Whereas if you were playing up on top of the statue, you likely don't eat that. I would flip to speed now, heal your Rhine. Yep, heal the turret. Yep, since he went to the med pack, just speed him out. Oh, no, 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 what are you doing? No, no, no. This is not how to use a Lucio beat drop at all, because one, only the Rhine's going to get it. Maybe Sombra if she walks out, but otherwise nobody's going to get it. So what you want to do is wait for the Torb to ult, and then you beat drop. Or if you're not caught up in a Rhine hammer down, you could beat drop that as a second thing. The third thing would be Nano. The fourth thing would be Bob. You don't beat drop just to initiate a Reinhardt to go in here. You don't do that. You want to use Lucio beat drop to counter offensive ultimates primarily. Under certain circumstances, you might beat drop to initiate an attack, but this is not one of those circumstances that would call for this. So this is not a good beat drop here. Oh, and I'm on the wrong hero. So at least the Sombra got it. So again, if you were playing more around the statue or off to the right wall riding along the wall over there, you don't get caught up in this hammer down. Or if you were off playing in that room with the little mini health pack that I was suggesting too, like any of those three spots, you don't get hammer downed here. Another thing that I like to wall ride off of is this phone booth up into this vicinity and just wall riding on that wall. That could be another suggestion too. That actually would have been a pretty good spot to be at once the fight kind of started progressing. But yeah, any of those four spots, you know, just kind of frequent them depending on the circumstances of the fight. But if you're playing in those spots, you're probably not going to be catching a lot of that flack that you were kind of catching, say for example, that Reinhardt hammer down. So I would be healing here. Yep, heal, heal. Stay on heal, stay on heal. Maybe flip between the two just to help the Rhine get out, but primarily staying on heal. So yeah, you not healing your Reinhardt forced the Ana to nano the Rhine here. And I don't know that this is necessarily the greatest of nanos, but since the Rhine is nanoed and he's anti, just speed him around at this point. Yeah, so you want to be speeding your Rhine around right now. Because the reason for that being, you want to try to maximize the efficiency of the nano, and when Rhine is nanoed, he needs speed boost to do that. So as soon as your Rhine is nanoed, you forget anything else going on and you speed him around so that he can be as aggressive as possible. If he gets really low, you might start alternating between heal and speed just to give him some extra HP here and there, but generally speaking, speed him around. So now that he is not nanoed and you have a team of injured people, now you want to start kind of focusing a little bit more on either healing or alternating between heal and speed.
This is my favorite part. Party time, let's go!
So yeah, I would like to see more wall riding here. This was kind of the area I was talking about tight corridors and mostly flat walls that are pretty easy to wall ride on. You can bounce between these two walls to get height if you're struggling to get height. But generally speaking, this is an area where you really shouldn't be touching much ground, if ever. And you're on the ground quite a bit here. And you put yourself at risk of being charged there. Luckily for you, you didn't get charged, but if you're wall riding, you're very unlikely to have received a charge there. Luckily you didn't take that one anyway, but... yeah, and okay, so right here, Let's zoom out and just rewatch this a little bit again. So, if we're watching from right here, see how you're so close to the enemy Rhine? You're basically frontlining. I get there's a little bit of a brawl fight going on here, but what you would want to do is probably be playing back in that vicinity. You could even be kind of like bouncing in and out of there. But you're too far up. Yeah, you're just frontlining. You don't want to frontline as a support ever, really. With the exception of maybe Brig. But other than that, you never really want to be frontlining too much. So you were way too far up there. So that death was completely on you. Because if you're still going, you could have been speeding that Rhine into that hammer down, and then more value would have been received off of that hammer down. Alright, you're back into the fight. Actually, you know what? Let's watch your rollout. Let's see what you do for a rollout. Oh god. Yeah, you screwed up that rollout. You recovered it at least though. But yeah, your initial rollout not great, but you did recover it pretty good. So yeah, you should be kind of alternating between heal and speed, but you were strictly on speed. They were so close that you weren't going to be able to speed your Rhine out of that situation. So really all you could have done there was he had a shield, so you could have healed it enough so that he had enough HP so that when his shield drops, he might have been able to swing and push him back a little bit. But yeah, that's about all. And that would have been like best case scenario, and I'm not even sure if that would have been enough, but... Yeah, your team's not good at spotting these Torb turrets, and the enemy Torb's doing a good job of putting them in places where your team's not noticing them, so at least you're noticing them enough that you're killing them. Okay, good job.
60 seconds.
Only thing I would have done differently is, again, alternate between heal and speed, where you're just kind of 100% on speed there. That's the only thing I would have really done differently there. Once you kind of get to that vicinity, the wall riding becomes a little difficult. Actually, I went too far back. But if the one thing I would say in terms of wall riding that you could potentially do, you can wall ride up here and try to get up into the edge over here and take like a little bit of a high ground stance, and your radius will still affect anybody in this vicinity, which is basically everybody that's fighting over here. I'm not necessarily saying you needed to do that though, because you guys won the fight anyway, but if you find you're starting to catch a lot of flack, or if the enemy team, like if you have a sense that the enemy team is focusing on you a little bit, this might be a spot where you could take where they might not be shooting at you as much, maybe. Just throwing that out there as another suggestion for positioning. But I don't think you needed to do that for that particular fight, but just throwing it out there.
My ultimate is charging.
Okay, so yeah, good idea to start pushing up with your team. So right here, I would be going back to heal a little bit, even swapping between the two, because at this point you're as pushed up as you're going to get, and now it's a poke battle. They don't want to retreat yet. So at this point, just put it on heal song, build up your ult charge. You're very close to it. And then just, you know, at this point, it's just sustain the position that you have. But you're just really stuck on this speed boost thing.
Turn it up, turn it up.
Yeah, there we go. Now you're healing.
Over there.
Oh. Hold on. Did you... I'm not sure if you did or not. Let's see here. This is a bad habit Lucios have, including myself. When they see a Rhine charging, they want to boop him. And that can oftentimes create more problems than it does good. I don't think you booped him into it. I think he was going to be in it anyway. But be careful of that. It's a bad habit a lot of Lucios, including myself, can have. Try not to boop charging Reinhardts anymore. It just tends to create more problems than it helps.
I am ready to activate the sound barrier.
The risk reward just tends not to be there anymore like it used to. Yeah, alright, so this is a good... Alright, there's a lot to unpack here. Alright, so... Let's watch this from outside. So, I like this Lucio beat drop better than the first one. However, I don't like your positioning for it. So, what I would... let's watch this play out from outside first. Yeah, you're too grounded. So... So what I would suggest is as soon as you beat drop, get up onto this vicinity, like climb up here and then start wall riding around there, or even getting up into this platform, but just stay on the edge of it. That's what I would have been doing here. The easiest way to do that is first of all, beat drop on top of the cart and then just hop over here and then just wall ride up into here. That's what I would have been looking to do. The more you stay on the ground, the more you're asking for damage to be taken to yourself. And you want to be one of the last people on your team to die so that they either have the speed or the healing to their advantage throughout. And then on top of that, there is lava all over the ground. So, you know, you want to be playing stay off the floor as much as possible. Everybody else doesn't get that advantage. Your team is very low on the mobility scale, which is a little weird to me, especially considering that this is a higher level game. So you would think you would want, or you would have teammates that would be capable of taking high ground. And it's weird to me too, because there's nobody really on the enemy team able to take high ground, like say up in here or up there either. So it's just strange to me that nobody's doing this. Because I feel like almost every game I have, somebody will be up here. Be it either on my team, the enemy team, both, whatever. And then when, I don't know, it's just, I won't go any further to it than that. I was going to say something else, but I'll leave that out. But yeah, it's just strange to me nobody's taking high ground. You're the only guy, really, that can take a high ground stance in this whole lobby outside of the Kiriko. So it's strange to me nobody's doing it. But yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I would have done differently here. Beat drop on top of the cart and then just take a high ground position. And then you'll be lasting the entirety of the fight. Nobody's going to shoot at you up there. I guarantee it. Nobody will. Outside of maybe Soldier when he ults, but at this point it doesn't matter anyway because the fight's over. I will say one thing too. Now that they have Soldier with Torb, I would be looking more to beat drop the Soldier versus the Torb. Although I don't hate that you beat drop the Torb Urinal. I'm not saying it was a terrible thing to do. Just I would say Soldier ult trumps Torb ultimate. So yeah. And there's circumstances that would negate that. Like say for example, if Soldier ults into like a pretty much a maxed out grind shield and he's got no positioning, then obviously don't beat drop that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you're frontlining a Rhine there. Be careful of that. Okay, so he didn't kill you, and then you took this like mid-ground spot, and this spot up here, like this mid-ground spot, isn't terrible, and the Rhine can't do anything to you here. So I don't know why you got off of this mid-ground spot. Just stay here and just shoot him in the back and be annoying to the Reinhardt. And then if he goes and chases you through the door, then you just leave and go to the cart or to your team. But why you choose to basically go frontlining the Rhine and then allow him to kill you, that's terrible positioning. That's very low level positioning right there. You gotta keep your distance from Reinhardt. Don't charge into him. I mean, if the rest of your team's charging into him too, that would be different, but you're essentially 1v1ing a Reinhardt and then going into him and eliminating your advantage that you had on him. So one thing I would suggest to do differently when you're dealing with Symmetra turrets. So Lucio, if you play him the way you that I like to play him, where you're playing like an aggressive, almost like a third DPS style Lucio, you'll feel like you're reloading his gun all the time. And I don't disagree that Lucio's role in terms of killing sim sentries, Torb turrets, that kind of a thing, kind of does fall on Lucio to do that. So I don't hate that you're going after them. However, you are a high mobility hero. And when it comes specifically more toward the sim sentry side of things, what I like to do is I just flip to speed song and I start wall riding and I punch them, assuming they're not all grouped up and already beaming me down. I mean, but in a case like this, where they're already kind of not shooting at you and you've only got like 1 or 2 to deal with, you're at full health, the fight's not like super, like it's not like at this point, it's not really a losable fight. You guys have the advantage to it. I would just put on speed song, wall ride to the sim sentries and punch them to save your ammo. And then as soon as they're punched, you just start using your ammo that you saved on the enemy at this point. Because right now you're just kind of diddling with it. You're wasting all your ammo and then you're going to have to reload. And then on top of that, you amp. So now you got to wait even longer to reload, which is one of those annoying mechanics that Lucio has. The other thing I would say is you really focus on shooting the tank as opposed to shooting squishier targets. And I don't know why that is, but your target priority needs to shift off of shooting at the tank so much and start poking at supports and DPS more.
Initiating match. Ready. 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defending objective A.
So the thing, I've pointed this out in the past in previous VOD reviews, but try not to play right in here until you know there isn't a Widowmaker, and a good one. Now obviously they're not running Widow, but you didn't know that yet and you're playing in this spot. Let me just to make a point, because I would expect people at this rank to not be doing this, and it's not just the Lucio here, but let's get to about gun level. So if there is a Widowmaker and they're zoomed in down here, now we got to go zoom in to basically what they're going to see. But if there is a Widow, you're in their scope, and so is your Cassidy. So the question I have is, and the only reason I'm pointing this out is because you don't know that they're not running Widowmaker yet. You don't know that. So that Widow has the opportunity, if they had one, to pick you off, pick Cassidy off, and even if he shields, you might be fine, but the Cassidy would be dead. And then if he drops his shield because there's a Rhine swinging at him, then you would be dead next. This is very low level as a whole team, not just you, but as the whole team too here. This is very low level positioning. I wouldn't have expected diamond people or upper tier diamond low level master players to be playing over here. This is very strange to me. So yeah, get out now, go to heal. You got to be healing your team here. Yeah, you're not healing anywhere near enough. I get Lucio's primary role on a team is to be speeding people around, but you do gotta heal.
Oh, you want to hear this?
And we gotta work on your rollout. So let's start there first. Start on the rollout. So first of all, I go out the other door. I don't really come out that door. So let's talk rollout for a second. So all right, you come out here, you get on this wall, you bounce on that wall, bounce to this wall, bounce to here, bounce to here, bounce to here, bounce to here, bounce to there, wall right here, catch here, catch there. You can catch to here, and then you can go all the way to here without ever touching the ground once you get onto the wall. So try to perfect that to get out of your spawn faster. I would be practicing that because this is, if you're going to be playing a lot of Lucio, this is a day one map. And what I mean by day one is from the release of Overwatch. This map has been out there. This is a map you should know like the back of your hand. You should know this map. So you should know all the little ins and outs. And if you don't, you should make a priority of the day one maps specifically to know them. Because it'll give you an advantage. Like the positioning you guys did for holding point one, that's very early into Overwatch. People stopped holding so deeply into that area, and you guys paid for it. Like you lost that first point very quickly. So now that you're, let's get you back into the fight here. All right, so now you're speeding your Rhine kind of back a little bit. Anna's gonna top him off, so that's fine. You can stay on speed here. But there's nothing to contest, so really at this point just fall all the way back to the first corner here. Yeah, right where you're at right now, this is where you want to hold. So, what I would be doing now is, let's see, everybody is here, I think. Where's the May? Okay, so May, all right. So what I would be doing here is get your May back into the fight. Escort her back. She's not that far back, so that's good. And then once you've got them escorted and everybody's here, this right here should be your new front line. Unless your team gets an early pick. But this is the front line you would want to hold, and here is where you'd want to hold on to Heal Song. If your team gets an early pick, then, so say for example, this Rhine charges in alone, and all of a sudden you guys kill him because he overextends. Let's just hypothetically say that happens. Then this would be the front line you would want to hold. You would want to try to hold this choke as much as possible, because if you can hold this choke, this is a difficult choke for them to push out of, and it will force them to use ultimates that they might not necessarily have used until later. But you only want to hold this area under two circumstances. Circumstance 1 being the one I just talked about where you get an early pick. Circumstance 2 would be, say for example, one person is capturing the point. So in this case, let's say the Ana's capturing point, and the other 4 push out, and then you guys start just winning that fight, and all of a sudden it becomes Ana with the cart and everybody else is respawning. Then you would hold this choke. Those are the two circumstances that gets you to hold there. Otherwise, where you're at right now, this is where you would want to hold. So right now, your primary job, get the Mei back, and then at that point, if the Rhine is still overextended, try to get him picked, and then you could try to hold that first front line. Otherwise, hold right here. Okay, so your Ana is a scrub. Your Ana doesn't have nano confirm on, and she nano boosted you by mistake. This happens all the time when Anas don't have nano confirm on, and before nano confirm was a thing in Overwatch. And I find when you point out to Anas that they need to turn that on that don't have it on, they get very defensive, but it's something that they need to be told. So you did nothing wrong here. This is completely a scrub Ana. Let's see, do they have it on?
I've got you.
Yeah, they don't have it on. So this is a scrub Ana you're playing with. If your team, or if that Ana tried to blame you for that, you're completely not in the wrong. This Ana needs to turn nano confirm on. Your positioning here though is not good. I don't care that you're nano. Don't over. A mistake was made. Don't overextend that mistake by getting yourself picked here, because there's really nothing you're gonna do with nano anyway. So let's zoom out here. So all you can really do with nano is like kind of play over here and just shoot at people until your team starts taking space, if they do, but they didn't because the Rhine didn't get nano and isn't being healed because you're never going on the heal song. So really all you guys can do is actually just fall back. I didn't even realize the Rhine died so quickly, but yeah, just fall back at this point. There's nothing you can do here. Absolutely nothing you can do. Just fall back. Yeah, so you just fed and got yourself picked. I don't care that you have nano. This was a complete fallback situation.
It's time. Yeah, I'll turn it up.
Yeah, so if your team gets hammer down and you don't, going to speed song, even amping speed song, does not make them get up faster. Go to heal them, and make sure that they either don't die or the Rhine has to really commit to getting a kill. Also, don't shoot at nanoed Reinhardts that are at full health. Go for the Zen. You could dive bomb this Zen here if you were good enough to do it. And then you would be contesting the cart while doing it. But instead, you're shooting a nanoed Rhine in the back. Not the play. So... Alright, so let's zoom out here. So... Alright. What I would be doing here, first of all, the second he hammers down, if you're not on heal, go to heal. And then... what I would be looking to do is I would turn this corner and look to see what exactly is going on with the cart. The second I see that it's Zen and Ana, and your Rhine is basically point blank against them once he gets up, I would go contest the cart and go after the Zen. And then if the Zen is getting healed by the Ana, I would start looking at hitting the Ana. But the reason I say go for the Zen first is because there is a dynamic that once you start getting more aggressive playing Lucio, you'll start to witness. And that dynamic is, how do the supports play with each other? Do they heal each other? Do they back each other up? Do they peel for each other? That kind of a thing. And the thing that I often notice, and this isn't a flat rule, but it's frequent enough to pay attention to, is that if you go after the Zen, the Ana will likely not peel for the Zen the same way that if you go for the Ana, the Zen will peel for the Ana. So, meaning, if you go after the Ana here, just pretend like, you know, you wall right over here and you dive bomb into the Ana and you land a couple headshots, you get her to half health or something, and all of a sudden you're contesting the cart and you're picking a fight with the Ana right here. The likelihood that the Zen puts the orb on the Ana here, in my opinion, would be higher than if you did the same thing going up against the Zen and picking the fight with the Zen, and then the Ana heals the Zen. It's just like there's a percentage of likelihood that the Ana doesn't peel for the Zen in the same way. Not to say that it won't happen. It definitely can happen. But so what I would be doing here, one, I would be poking the fight on the Ana first. And the second you see that the Zen starts healing the Ana, go for the Zen. And the likelihood that the Ana just says, I'm going to start healing the rest of my team pushed up here, would be pretty high in my opinion. But the point I'm trying to make is amping Speed Song right here will do nothing for your team. And if you're holding cart and contesting and all of a sudden messing around with their supports, this Rein doesn't get healed, and it will either force him to retreat back to his supports, or he's going to have to pick a fight against the rest of your team, and he's not going to get healed while doing it. Meanwhile, your Rein can start pressuring them with you while the cart's not moving. So, and then let's just, on a hypothetical, say that this Rein suddenly takes out these three players while this Rein takes out his supports with you. Your Rein still would have the advantage on that Rein because you could keep that Rein up while this Rein doesn't have any support at that point, assuming you go to a heal song, which you haven't been doing much of. But that's why I would do something differently than what you're doing. Because really what you did here didn't do anything for anybody. You basically just ran away. And there's nothing for you to do here now. They have the point. There's no contesting this. Like, frankly, you could have potentially picked a fight with that Zen and maybe gotten a pick on him. Likelihood he gets help from the Ashe and then doesn't die anyway, and then the Ana probably heals him. But frankly, you needed to basically just wait that out and then get back to your team. And there's much better rollouts coming out of that spawn. Typically you want to come out the other door. So you come out here, bounce off this wall, bounce off here, bounce off here, 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 and then you're back in the fight. That would have been the better rollout.
Enemy turret here.
Yep, heal. So the other thing that I want to point out, that a better or bigger reason to be healing more is to build up more ult charge. Because as a Lucio beat dropping offensive ults, you have to be matching them. And if you find that you're not matching them, or if you have the opinion that you can't match offensive ults as a 1-to-1, that means you're not playing Lucio correctly, because you absolutely can match offensive ultimates on a 1-to-1 basis if you're healing, if you're landing shots, if you're landing headshots. Those are the three, and then not dying. I mean, positioning thing too. You got to be playing your positioning so that you're not dying. But if you're doing those four things, you can match Genji blades, you can match Torbolts, you know, unless somebody's like really feeding, you know, and then they're just like feeding off of like a Roadhog or something. That might make things a little bit more difficult. But in a situation like how this game's been playing out, you absolutely could be matching your beat drops to like Torbolts, Soldier, that kind of a thing. So I'm okay with speeding here. Now you need to be healing and then you die because you're playing an area that's going to be catching a lot of just spam damage, and then you caught the fire strike to the face.
Louder this time. Enemy turret. Speed it up, everyone. Hey.
So yeah, again, kind of catching damage that you really don't have any business catching. I would be playing back more over here. You could be playing back in this area. So think about it from the perspective of them, because you died basically like right at the corner. So if you're coming from over here, where are you likely to shoot? You're going to shoot at this vicinity over here, because everybody's back that way and they're going to poke around. So anytime they poke around, they're going to be right there. That's why you died there. Meanwhile, if you're playing more out this way, you've got room to duck, dodge, you know, speed around to not get hit so easily. And it's more of a skill shot to hit you over there. Now, if you're playing against like a god tier sniper, then you don't want to be over there, but you're not playing against that. You're playing against Torb and Ashe, and the Ashe, to me, I haven't seen anything from that Ashe that suggests like they're going to have god tier aim to just be able to like two tap you, and they're not being mercy pocketed either. So that's why I would suggest playing a little bit more out in the open. Plus, you've got the Reinhardt shield to kind of hide behind a little bit. And then you could always speed back into the room and catch the Mega if you do catch a little bit of damage. So that's basically why your positioning got you killed there. So again, the rollout needs work, but, you know, you're basically doing the same thing you did last time. All you can really do here is try to heal and get the Mei out. This is a terrible ultimate. I don't know what this Mei thinks they're doing. The Mei got a pick, which is nice. Because the Mei ulted, I know I was saying, like, don't feed into a mistake with that nano boost. However, this would be an ultimate to feed into if anybody's frozen. Like, they did kill the Zen. Is anybody else in it, though? No, nobody else is in it. So, I would have stayed with the Mei here, though, just to either speed her around or heal her. In this case, I would have been healing her, just so that they don't icicle themselves and can just be aggressive with whoever they freeze. They only froze Zen, and they got the Zen pick, which I guess is good. At least they did get something out of it, but I still say this isn't that good of an ult. But this would have been one to double down on and just stay with. At this point, though, get out. The Cassidy should not be here, and you should be getting out. So okay. You made your space and you got back, but then you stopped and now you're going into it, which I don't understand. What you should do now is get over to here. And now you're completely safe to just poke at him from a distance. And if he fire strikes you, you just get out of the way. because you can be up there with Speed Song and just move around and be completely safe. Now, if the Ana starts hitting you, then you're going to have to run away, but you have nothing to worry about from that Reinhardt. But you're moving into him, and I don't know why you're doing this. I don't care that you booped him back. You just took damage and you fed that Reinhardt for no reason. And now then you did the right thing by getting there, but now you're going back into him again. I don't know what this is. And this is not a good beach route. So if that Bob were a problem, you could have beat dropped that. Typically, though, I would have been holding it for either Nano or Torbolt. Torbolt, because if he starts clearing up a bunch of space with the lava around the point and suddenly you guys can't contest it, the beat drop allows you to contest it. Or Nano for basically the same principle. Because likely they'll Nano the Reinhardt. Okay, good job killing the turret. Yep, get to your mid-ground. Yeah, so you should be playing this mid-ground spot, but in a situation like that, the only thing I would have said to do differently would be to maybe just play in here and wait the Bob out. And then once you're at full health, you might be able to contest this area a little bit and be hard to hit, because what you could do is once the Bob expires, you come out here, wall ride off of here, wall ride to here, wall ride to here, and then you could just keep wall riding around, booping people, shooting at them just enough to keep them moving so that you can be harder to hit, bounce off here, wall ride here, and this can be an area that you can contest and be hard to hit. If the Reinhardt is here, you wouldn't really be able to do that, but the Reinhardt isn't here, so then at this point it just becomes how good is their aim to hit you. And if the Torb goes into shotgun mode, you might not be able to last too long here unless you save your amp and you amp heal. Then you could eat a little bit more of this, but you would have been able to at least contest this a little bit. And then as you start taking damage, you could either retreat over here to the health pack if it's there, but it wouldn't have been, or you could, you know, retreat back to into here. And then if they follow you, you're probably going to die. If they don't, you could wait it out until you're basically back to like around half health or somewhere around there, and then get to back over here to your team. But given the circumstances, that's what I would have done differently if I were you.
Yeah, I'll turn it up.
So again, I go out the other door. I don't really ever come out this door. The only time I ever really come out this door is if there's a sniper watching the other door, and going out there might mean my instant death. But there hasn't been a lot of high ground taking in this game, so the other door is likely safe.
There's a medic like you.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave this as mainly a Lucio VOD. We'll watch the rest of it, and I'll just do really brief commentary on this, but I'm not really gonna VOD review the Baptiste side of this that much. I wanted to leave this mainly more as a Lucio, so we'll kind of watch it in a fast forward mode here, just so everybody that watches can see how this game ended. But I think your team's gonna benefit more though from you playing Baptiste, just because you're actually going to be healing a little bit more. And I think your team did definitely need more healing.
Over there. Over there. Here with the cure. Stay near the immortality field.
So, one thing I'll point out, when the front line starts getting pushed back, you need to retreat back into there, somewhere in that vicinity, either through the archway or just back into that little courtyard section. You were just too far up and you became an easy target, regardless of the jumping. And then, yeah, they took the point and won. So, all right. So number one, you need to heal. a lot more. I don't know exactly what your ratio to heal to speed was. It felt probably in the ballpark of 80-20. And I don't know how close that was. Maybe you can comment in the YouTube section and let me know on that. But what I would recommend is somewhere in the 60-40 split, and that 60-40 could be speed and heal or heal and speed, and it all just kind of depends on how the game goes and what your game sense is to what your team needs. But I would get that a lot closer to 50-50, and then usually lean a little bit to one or the other. And a lot of that's just going to depend on the particular game. I wouldn't necessarily go into the game saying I'm going to have 60 speed to 40 heal no matter what. I would just read the game and just read what the team needs, and then and if the team needs more heal, go to the 60-40 on heal versus speed and vice versa. But let the game play out as it plays out, and whatever it breaks out to is what it breaks out to. But that's what I would have been looking for as a little bit more of a split there. Number 2, beat drop off. Alts. Off means offensive. So beat drop offensive alts to cover that, as opposed to using them to initiate. And then 3, I'll just say POS for positioning. We walked over your positioning as it was playing out, so I'm not going to break that down any further. And then number 4 is your rollouts. Your rollouts needed work. What I would recommend is load up a custom lobby and just practice rolling out of spawn and getting out of certain spawn points as fast as possible into where you would predict a lot of your team front lines are going to be. And just work on that, because what I saw there wasn't great. It was good to not great, depending on where you were coming out of. So this got to be a pretty lengthy one, so we're going to cut it there. Hopefully this was helpful, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.